SpaceX mission lifts off with former NASA astronaut, 3 paying customers. 1. The first all-civilian orbital spaceflight launched from Florida on Wednesday, carrying 4 people who paid for the privilege of spending 3 days in orbit aboard a SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule. Zelensky says fiercely contested Bakhmut not occupied, as Russia claims capture one. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Thursday that the city of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine was not occupied by Russian-backed forces, despite claims by a Wagner Group commander that his mercenaries had taken control of the strategic city. Smoke from Canadian fires is pouring into the U.S. and could linger for days. 1. Smoke from wildfires burning across Canada has drifted into the U.S., creating hazy skies and poor air quality in several states. The smoke is expected to persist for at least a few more days, according to the National Weather Service. Sudan's warring factions sign agreement for 7-day ceasefire too. The U.S. and Saudi Arabia announced on Thursday that they had brokered a deal between Sudan's army and paramilitary rapid support forces, who have been fighting for 6 weeks in the western region of Darfur. The agreement calls for a 7-day ceasefire and the withdrawal of forces from conflict areas. Russian mercenaries behind slaughter of 500 in Mali village, UN report finds 2. A UN investigation has found that Russian mercenaries from the Wagner Group were responsible for a massacre of at least 500 civilians in a village in central Mali in June. The report said the mercenaries used drones, helicopters, and heavy weapons to attack the village, which was home to a rival ethnic group. China wants to subordinate West, U.S. politician claims on UK visit too. Republican Congressman Mike Gallagher, who is leading a delegation of U.S. lawmakers to London, said on Thursday that China was seeking to subordinate the West and pose an existential threat to democracy. He urged the UK to take a tougher line on Beijing and join a US-led alliance of democracies. G7 prepares new Russia sanctions as Zelensky to attend summit in person too. The G7 group of leading democracies is preparing to impose new sanctions on Russia over its aggression against Ukraine, as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed he would attend the summit in Hiroshima in person. The sanctions are expected to target individuals and entities involved in the war, as well as sectors of the Russian economy. 3 dead in tourist plane crash in Switzerland. A pilot and 2 passengers died on Thursday when their small plane crashed in a steep and forested area in western Switzerland. The plane was carrying tourists from Germany and Switzerland who had booked a scenic flight over the Alps. Floods ruin crops and drown livestock in one of Italy's gastronomic heartlands. Heavy rains have caused severe flooding in northern Italy, destroying crops and killing livestock in one of the country's most famous food-producing regions. The floods have affected the provinces of Parma and Piacenza, which are known for their cheese, ham, and wine. Leaders of Sudan's warring factions agree to 7-day ceasefire. U.S. State Department says the leaders of Sudan's warring factions have agreed to a 7-day ceasefire after 6 weeks of fighting that has killed hundreds of people and displaced thousands more, according to the U.S. State Department. The agreement was reached during a meeting in Juba, South Sudan, mediated by the U.S. and Saudi Arabia.